see you all, and let's go for a bit of a spin around York. I've got the Theatre Royal behind me in lights there, gearing up, getting ready for their annual pantomime show. Fantastic spectacle for the family. So let's be on our way, and let's take a walk. It's a wet walk this evening, but nonetheless, we'll do our best. Our spirit's good, so I say we're just by York's Theatre Royal, and I think Jack and the Beanstalk is going to be Jack and the Beanstalk is going to be their show that kicking off on December the 8th. So I'm sure the rehearsals are in the kind of very last stages now, and everything will be gearing up for showtime a few days from now. So is that Friday? I think Friday's not open. So if you're over in this part of the world, do check it out. So I thought that we would go for a rather nice walk through the lights of York. We have delayed this tour for reasons that I need to go into. What's nice is that obviously it's got all the more Christmassy ever since, insofar as that we've now entered officially the period of Advent. So Advent started yesterday, and Advent, of course, is sort of prelude to Christmas, isn't it? It's a 4-week religious festival. It is akin to, lovely ribbons there, akin to Lent, insofar as it was a period that was developed and intended to be used as preparation ahead of the Holy Feast of the Nativity. And it lasted 4 weeks, so 4 Sundays, starting the first Sunday after St Andrew's Day. And the idea is to spend 4 weeks essentially going without for the very, very pious indeed. They're in a very, very abstemious lifestyle indeed. For most other people, being pretty modest in the food and drink, and keeping your other appetites under control. So Advent was 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks was about thinking about the birth of Christ. Weeks 3 and 4, contemplation in respect of the second coming. Now, doesn't that look beautiful? So this gateway that we've passed through so many times on these tours, Bootham Bar, the northern gateway to the city, is now decked out with these kind of crystal lights. I'm just trying to get us back so we can really kind of take that in. It really does look incredibly attractive. There's something about, of course, this time of year, and of course, portrayed against the night sky. It really does give us that kind of wow factor. Leslie says a wow factor. So York is pretty easy on the eye most of the year, but it is particularly attractive this time of year. And what's nice is it's not kind of super over the top. So that you guys on here from kind of New York, no doubt will be used to things that are a good deal kind of more elaborate, if you like, kind of more intricate, more detailed. But I think that we've got enough going on personally with our buildings to kind of allow them to be more set off, if you like, with the lights, rather obscured by the lights. I hope you'll agree as we kind of walk down through the town, through the city this evening. I think the lights, the way they kind of stream, just really set off the natural elegance of the buildings. And of course, lights are an incredibly significant factor at this time of year. In the midst of winter, approaching the midst of winter, we're only a few weeks now away from the winter solstice. We are in darkness in much of the Northern Hemisphere. And so the yearning for light is perhaps not surprising. That light represents both warmth and security coming together, but also reminds us of the coming warmer days, the longer days. So light really is about kind of hope. It's being in the midst of the darkness and the cold, but looking forward and also illuminating, finding warmth in the darkness, finding hope in the despair. So the Romans, by the way, were the sort of really first to utilise light as part of their festival celebration this time of year, as part of their Saturnalia. They gifted one another candles rather. and they would etch images of the gods into the candles, and they would light them, often in kind of candlelit procession, so they can light up the night sky. And it was about a gift of hope. So the idea of the nicer times to come. But I think there's something just very, very endearing about the simplicity of the lights as they're kind of displayed. When you've got this simple elegance of the buildings, you don't really need to do so much more. It is absolutely, I think, a classic look. And what we're going to have a look as well, we'll have a look at some of the shop windows as well, because this time of preparation, this Advent now, is probably as much about commercial preparation as it is about kind of spiritual preparation. And of course, for so many of the businesses in York, they need a good Christmas. That is kind of part and parcel of trading. You need to do a lot of business this time of year. So the Christmas market is on. We'll be doing a tour of the Christmas market. Probably next week, we'll look to do that, usual chatty tour. Be chatting to some of the stall holders and kind of find out who's there, selling what they're up to. And so we'll kind of look forward to doing that. But I thought tonight we'd have a look at the shop windows, so take a slow walk around the city, and just focus really on the visual sense, the aesthetic of York as it prepares for Christmas. And I'd say I think we've got a lovely night. It's rather wet. It's a bit misty yesterday. Even we had snow, but of course that snow didn't settle. So it's still wet though. So I've got a lot of rain, so I've got my brolly up. So I'm going to try and do the best to keep the camera dry, but at the same time try and give you the best possible shots. And we'll have a nice linger of the twinkling, some nice sort of twinkling, and you might be able to hear as well. It's a little town of Bethlehem. Can you hear that? Minster bells playing out. No, the wishing tree we'll see at the end. You missed a note then. See the bell towers of light lit up there? How lovely is that? The illuminated, sparkling tree, the Minster bells playing out, all the atmosphere you could possibly want. And I think it just makes it very, very special, whether Christmas is something that is a spiritual event for you, a cultural event, a family event. I think we're all kind of allowed in, aren't we? Just to be beguiled by the lights, the displays, the familiar songs, the tunes. Sorry, I'm trying to put my gloves on because my hands have got really cold. It's become very, very democratic, I think, Christmas. That at one time was about you had to behave in certain ways, you do certain things. And I don't think that's the case now. I think Christmas can be largely what you want it to be. And I think for many of us, perhaps those sort of stuck inside that kind of fed up with the darkness and the cold, there's something about these twinkling lights that I think just give us a sort of sense of hope and positivity. Little rays of sunshine, a little bit of light therapy, perhaps. That's what we should call it. It's light therapy for those that get the seasonal affective kind of disorder. Let's focus on the lights tonight in York. So we'll have a walk down Deangate, and we'll come back by the Minster a bit later on. But I want to go and have a look at some of the shop windows. We're going to have a look at Betty's, of course, famous for their Christmas shop window displays. We're going to have a look down Stonegate, of course, one of our favourite streets. And just the nice streets, of course, the shambles I know you want to see lit up in the evening. So it's going to be the usual York, but looking extra kind of radiant. So this is Deangate, by the way. And you hear Jingle Bells playing now? I think it's Jingle Bells. Yeah, Jingle Bells, yeah. I booked the Minster to play this specially for us. So we're leaving the Minster behind. This is Deangate, which is a street that was actually created in the 20th century. At one time, this would have been kind of lots and lots of sort of medieval streets and alleyways, but they tried to clear this vista to create a route towards the Minster that kind of did justice to the majesty. If only the lighting of the Minster was quite as prominent as its view, it would be absolutely wonderful. But for reasons best known to themselves, they choose not to illuminate most of the Minster until later on in the evening. I wish they would change their view. But anyway, it's their building, it's their kind of choice. So Deangate gives us kind of lovely vista. So I thought we'd kind of walk down Deangate, the lovely Dean Court Hotel. Over here, one of York's famous independent hotels. Originally family owned. Beautiful. And I think we'll go down, we're going to have a look at the Betty's window, the Christmas tree in the square. We'll have a look at Stonegate. And just indulge in nice things. Have a very kind of Yorkie time. But so I say we've entered into Advent, and Advent dates from I think 572, if I can remember rightly. That's when it was kind of first introduced, and as I say, it was a kind of period, a bit like Lent, of going without preparation, having 4 weeks to think about the feast to come. Because of course, unlike many of the saints' days, when eventually Christmas came, it would herald in 12 days and 12 nights, the 12 nights of Christmas, 12 days of Christmas. So consequently, it perhaps did no harm to kind of go without for a little bit before Christmas, because Christmas was going to be a kind of period of excess. So it's something that kind of connects us. It's not necessarily a recent thing, thinking about lots and lots to eat and drink, coming inside, and it's kind of very practical. As we know, it has its roots kind of all the way back in pagan cultures, but there's a common sense to it, isn't there? At this time of year, thinking back to us as agricultural societies, there's not much you can do by way of farming. The days are too short, the ground is too cold, it's not really a time to be farming. So consequently, it makes sense to come together, come inside, take shelter, and kind of reconnect those sort of social bonds. So Christmas was incredibly important for bringing people back together. The people that lived, tough lives, to actually have some time off to enjoy was really important. And farm workers and peasants, everybody in our kind of agricultural economy was given that. So you can imagine how highly they would treasure that. I'll just kind of show you the lights of the assembly rooms, looking lovely over the canopy there in the doorway. And then we'll go down Blake Street, I think, and go and have a look at the Christmas tree, the mansion house, and we're going to go look at the Christmas shop, because we'll go down Stonegate. So that is Cathwolfahart, and we'll go down. So we'll see two actually, because we're on the Shambles as well. So yes, you will have your fill of Christmas shops tonight. I guarantee we'll cover those off. So another perspective there of Deangate, looking back down towards the Minster. As I say, not much of the Minster you can see right now because it's not illuminated, but nonetheless, you see a bit at the top there. Hopefully, just the right centre of your picture. So we just take a sip of water and then we will go onwards. So the rain is just about managing. I may take my brolly down in a minute because it's a bit of a nuisance, being honest, having a brolly up. But let's just see if that's going to simultaneously keep my kit dry while I do that, then that is a kind of win-win. So let's just try and take it down. May come back up again, but let's hope the rain has done its worst, and we can just focus now on delivering the tour and just keeping the kit dry. This is Museum Street. Walking down, known because the museum gardens are just sort of ahead of us on the kind of the right-hand side. So they are very, very nearby. And there are some lovely lights in the museum gardens. I'll see if it's open, because there's now like a bar. So normally the garden's shut, I think, at 6 p.m. But because there's now like a sort of mulled wine and live events bar in there, I think the garden might be open, in which case we're going to have a little look at their lights that they've put in. And sadly, the medieval remains are not lit up, which I would say is a bit of a missed opportunity, but nonetheless, it's lovely that it's open and we can just take a stroll in the darkness. So let's just kind of cross over that, getting run over. And thank you very much. We'll see our friend the Nutcracker. I know Andrew was the favourite of many of you, so as we're passing, let us say hello to Andrew the Nutcracker one more time. Lovely guy. He's there, of course, with the Minster. That'd be a great idea if gimbals have their own problems. That's a great idea. Somebody should invent that. They'll make a lot of money. So there's Andrew again, St Leonard's Hospital. He is an absolute star. I think we all largely agreed that he was our favourite of all of the chaps on display this year. I think we rather liked him having the Minster in the snow. And was he Mind? I think he was York Mind, wasn't he, that had kind of put this together. So Andrew, we like you an awful lot. And there's Andrew with St Leonard's Hospital remains behind him. So connecting the dots there for you from tour to tour. So you can hopefully kind of make sense. And by the time you get to York, you'll feel like natives. You'll know exactly where you're going, where everything is, because you've seen it so many times on here. You'll go, got it, I know exactly where I am now. And you're guaranteed not to get lost. You won't even need a guide. So I'm putting myself out of work. That's the generosity. That's what I'm giving to you people. Right? I'm depriving myself of an income because you simply won't need a guide when you get here. Yeah, I'm cutting my own throat doing this. In fact, I'm going to stop. So, right, no, stop looking now. That's enough. I'm only joking. I'm giving it away. I should be selling this, shouldn't I? But anyway, so there's Andrew. So let's just see if... Yes, the gardens are open. So doesn't that look lovely? Doesn't that look lovely? Didn't work for Leslie. Okay. You should get a real quick shot. Oh, they'll be out in 2 seconds. Thanks. Yeah, of course. So, as ever, the museum's trust staff doing us kind of proud there. Thank you very much. Just have a quick look. The post box is in, and Thor's bar is in here. So it's lovely to see the gardens getting used in an evening. We're not going to go too far down because they're about to kind of close up for the evening. But if you've got a letter for Santa, so there you go. Just pop it in there. How lovely are they? It gives me a warm glow just looking at that. It is just so spangly. Is that a word? Spangly? I love it. Isn't it gorgeous? It's so pretty, isn't it? You just can't help but fall in love. So Thor's is the bar. So they've got a nice little kind of Instagrammable kind of backdrop, if you like, for your selfies done. So it's fabulous. And again, the lights leading you down to the bar. But we're not going to go all the way down. I'll show you on one side of the mailbox, and then we'll head in. So yeah, it's a sparkly, spangly kind of time of year, isn't it? If you're going out, it's a great excuse to get. You've got glittery outfits, dresses, and so forth. It's just that time of year, isn't it? So we can't help but just be beguiled by a bit of light, bit of shimmer, bit of sparkle. And we'll say once more, thank you so much to our friends at York Museums Trust for doing a fantastic job. And on we go. So down into Liberace time, absolutely. Liberace was born for Christmas, wasn't he? So we've got lovely stars and sparkles across the streets here in Lendal. So I think we'll go and look at the Mansion House and the Christmas tree, and then we'll head for Betty's Window, and we'll go and see. I haven't had a look yet, but they are known, of course, for making a tremendous effort in everything they do. And we'll start looking at the shop windows, look at what people are doing, kind of Chinese restaurant, sushi, Japanese rather. So even for cultures that aren't necessarily attuned to Christmas, they still like to kind of get in a little bit on the act and look seasonal. Very pretty. You do sushi. Here's a place coming up. And we've got more traditional. So Christmas trains. Not quite sure when trains sort of became part of the kind of Christmas sort of lingo, but they always seem now to be, don't they, kind of the Polar Express, recently kind of movie and so forth. So I don't know, my Santa at the back there, with a lovely kind of wreath and a range of nice kind of gifts going on. So let's have a head down, and I don't know about you, but I always enjoy having a little nosy into the shops. It's kind of nice going at this time of night because you don't sort of freak out the staff by kind of stalking them with a gimbal, which could be slightly alarming. To that rather nice Christmas tree there in the front of Judge's Lodgings. We were here not so long back, if you remember, we looked at the judge, one of the ghosts was up on the steps where that person was chatting away on their phone right now. That's the nice thing about York, is at different times of the year we can bring you different things. So hopefully you never get bored of it, because if you do, I'm going to have to move somewhere else, which would be great. Not really nice Christmas tree there, reds and golds. And they're kind of the famous sort of colours, aren't they? Reds and gold with the green. I don't know if when they sort of became officially sort of adopted as the Christmas colours, but I think nowadays they seem to be big on the colour palette has shrunk a little bit for Christmas. It seems to be agreed that red, gold, green sort of appears to be the official colours. And lovely there as well. But it's perhaps not as colourful as it once was, Christmas. It's more tasteful now. Everybody is kind of doing kind of less is more. Oh, this is quite funky. So Middle Feast. So a fantastic place for shawarma. Chicken and lamb shawarma is absolutely delightful. Needs like some more bling. Absolutely, Robin. Wouldn't cut the mustard in New York, would it? But Middle Feast, more than making the effort. Yeah, it's sort of funny, isn't it, when you sort of putting up a tree and then kind of not really sort of plugging it in. You sort of think, you know, you've done most of the hard work. Why not just sort of anyway? That's up to them. I'm sure they know what they're doing. So we're coming in, of course, to St Helens Square. We've got the Mansion House, about to see on our left-hand side, coming into view. I've got the Ivy Cafe in front of us, the famous Ivy. We've got a branch here in York, and they certainly do Christmas at the Ivy. So let's start with a look at the Mansion House, and have a little wander around here. We'll go down Stonegate, and just take in what's around, really. So looking straight down Coney Street now, so the main kind of retail shopping street in York, Coney, Dangerwood, King Street, Koenig Street. So on Coney Street, at the top of Coney Street we have St Helens Square. The vendors in the shambles. I think if you're in the Christmas market, they're actually in Parliament Street. We'll have a little look. I'm not sure what time they close. I need to do a tour of that, but I haven't done it yet, so I haven't spoken to anybody. I think it's either 7 or 8 o'clock, so we'll have a little look at what's down there while we're here in York, because they're not far away from where we are now. But I just thought we'd have a little look at what's around first. So the doors of the Mansion House, the official residence, of course, of our Lord Mayor. Lovely, lovely wreaths on offer. Yeah, we'll be doing that very soon. I think we'll do that next week. The Christmas market tour, chatty tour. Might do that. Might do Knaresborough again as well. Christmas tour. So just an excuse to get out chatting, and you know what I'm like with chatting. If there's folk to chat to, then I'm more than up for that. So let's go and have a look at the Christmas tree. And we've got St Helens Church behind us. So St Helens Square, St Helens Church there illuminated in the background. And St Helen was the mother of Constantine. So Constantine of York, famously the Roman emperor that brought us Christmas. Well, his mother was St Helen. And this is her square, her church. And famously, St Helen was believed to have a fragment of the true cross. She collected religious artifacts, and wherever she found them, then Constantine had churches built. So she said she discovered Calvary, obviously the place of the crucifixion, the location of Solomon's Temple, and a kind of variety of iconic sort of places. And Constantine then had temples built and monuments built in all these places. So St Helen, a really important lady in the early church. This is her square, it's her church. Before we move on, let's have a little look at the Ivy. And we've got a polar bear, which I think is pretty darn fab. Loving that. And he's also got a jumper with himself on, which is not all that modest, it has to be said. That's a little bit showy, I think, for a polar bear to kind of be wearing his own merch. But maybe, does the ivy have something to do with polar bears? Or is that kind of a... is that something I'm missing? Is that kind of part of their kind of logos and stuff? But I think if I had a picture of myself on a jumper, you'd all think that was a little bit showy. But perhaps polar bears can rock that look in a way that tour guides can't. Who knows? But he is, yeah, he's certainly... I'm guessing it's him, unless it's just kind of a generic polar bear, and he's kind of really into polar bears. But there he is. So he's standing sentinel in front of Ivy's Cafe, the Ivy Cafe, here in York, in St Helens Square. Eccentric, I think eccentric is a good way of putting it. Verging on needy. How do we think? I don't know how it kind of plays up to you guys, but how is that for a Christmas image? I mean, it is a classic view. Maybe Grandma knitted it. I think that's probably a good call. Let's say he's for family political reasons, he's kind of wearing it. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But Ronnie Lynn thinks that he rocks that sweater. So you obviously are more forgiving than I am in that respect. Just stand there for a minute. Just take in those lights. Bit of twinkle, bit of sparkle. Isn't that nice? So as ever, the Christmas tree is linked to St Leonard's Hospice. So the Hospice is our kind of local charity here in York, kind of providing end-of-life palliative care. Oh, there's St Helens bells. You hear that? So there we go. So that'll be the chime, presumably for 7:30. Probably better get on it, don't I? Otherwise, so just give that same view now in kind of reverse now. So we've got obviously the Christmas tree, we've got the Mansion House in the foreground, and to the right hand side we've got Harker's Cafe Bar, formerly a bank, but like many of those financial institutions, it is now working as a bar and a restaurant. Nice place to spend time when you're here in York, right in the centre of St Helens Square. So let us, as we are here, have a little look at Betty's window, shall we? So Betty's needs no introduction. It is a Yorkshire institution, but it's also a Yorkshire Swiss institution, insofar as it was founded by Frederick Buller, of course, or Fritz Buller, who was Frederick Belmont, who was Swiss. And they are very, very kind of proud of their Anglo-Swiss connections. So consequently, it's about the best of Switzerland, and their patisserie, and their chocolate, but also Swiss chocolate, of course, but of course with healthy Yorkshire portions, which we all like because we all get greedy, don't we, at this time of year. So without further ado, let us once more just indulge in a Betty's window display and just sigh, because it's always just so lovely. As they say on their picture here, parcels of joy. Well, that's absolutely... I couldn't think of a better way to describe it. Imagine opening that on Christmas Day. It is such a lovely presentation. Little kind of petit fours, would you call those? We've got looks to be a gingerbread Christmas tree over there. The chocolate tasting box. Love marzipan, yeah. Some milk chocolate merry men, milk chocolate owls. Christmas characters, a steam train down there. White chocolate, oh maybe. Little birds, little robins there around the tree. And everything is just so tasteful. It's so beautifully packaged. But it also has that homemade look. And when you have a look at the cakes in the tin there, you can see this hasn't been done by machine. This has been done not just with a human hand, but with a human hand that cares, that is totally invested in what Betty's is all about. In that moment of taking the lid off, taking the wrapper off and going, oh, look at that. It's got that shot through. I think that attention to care, attention to detail, that I think just sets it apart from, of course you can go to Harrods and Fulton and Masons and all these kind of things, but you're not going to get better than this. Because this is authentic, Yorkshire, built on tradition, invested in, fabulous kind of family business, and do great things as well. They raise a lot of money for the environment, incredibly socially responsible. But look at that. Exploding hampers. I wish I could just magic that on its way across to where you are now, so it arrive in time for Christmas Day. Full of lovely, lovely things for you to eat. Lovely Santa biscuit over there. And as you can see here, everything tinned up. Obviously quite expensive to post, given the weight of it. I appreciate that. But there are kind of smaller, lighter things. And if you are in a position to, or if you're in the UK, then I would definitely suggest that you order yourself up just one or two little Betty's treats. That you'll get nothing nicer, I promise you. And if you're thinking about a gift for what should I get to Auntie or for Granny, I guarantee whoever opens a present like this on Christmas Day is going to be delighted, and they're going to think, what a lovely, fabulous, thoughtful gift. There is hampers, obviously tea and coffee, Tailors of Yorkshire, Harrogate, same company as Betty's, so they specialise in teas and coffees, as well as all this fabulous kind of lovely, lovely, lovely sweet things. So little Christmas puds over here. How delightful are they? The whole thing is just beautiful. So vine and brandy, like you see, plump juicy fruit, citrus peel and flaked almonds are all part of the time-honoured recipe for our Christmas puddings, as is maturing them for months until they're ready to light up your celebrations. So there we are. As ever, Betty's doing York and Yorkshire proud. The famous Betty's Cafe here in York. So I hope you enjoyed a little kind of nose. Do they ship to Canvas? I think the best thing is to have a look on the website there, Rachel. And I do believe at one time they were certainly looking at doing something in North America. I'm not entirely sure kind of what's happened subsequently. So shall we have a look down? Question now. I think we'll go down Stonegate and we'll kind of work back round and we'll see what's on the Christmas markets. Or should we get the Christmas markets now? We don't know. I can't decide. It's too much the lure and the pull. Not good to use your diabetic. Well, okay. I'm sure. Let's have a look down towards Christmas markets. I think it's probably closing up for the evening. The rain, unfortunately, is starting to come down once more. But I've got the brolly, so we can bring that up. And we're going to have a look at what's happening down there before we kind of have a cut back. And we're going to have a look at what's happening down in Stonegate. Look at some of the windows down there and the lights. And hopefully give you a lovely, warm, festive kind of glow that kind of goes with being. So Davygate, this street, probably one of York's least lovely streets, really. And my apologies to anybody that's based their business here. It's not their kind of fault. They do their kind of best, but there's something about it. It's obviously one of these streets that was created by sort of knocking down a load of stuff, and then what was built in its place wasn't that lovely. Apart from actually this building here, which is absolutely delightful. It used to be Liberty of London. It was a beautiful cafe right at the top. If you know Liberty the fabric shop, it's now Hobbs, which is a rather upmarket for ladies sort of fashion wear. So this is a beautiful Tudor building, I believe. We are good at umbrellas, yeah. We do umbrellas, but they're not great for gimbals, brollies, because they sort of get in the way, and you're kind of trying to give you guys a nice kind of panoramic shot, and of course at the same time you're trying to cover over the phone with the brolly. You've kind of got a tension really there in between the two. So Browns are traditional department stores. York and Helmsley is Browns, so it's nice to have independent stores here in York. So Browns is very, very well long-term established. I'm going to put my brolly back up actually. Just getting a little bit too wet, and I don't want to sacrifice my gimbal and phone. So let's get that back up. So let's go and have a look, see what's happening down here. It may well be, I think it looks like most of the place is shut. We'll have a look at the lights, and then we'll go down around the bottom, head up the shambles, do it that way, and go and look at Stonegate. So again, just lovely lights. It's all slightly different look and feel. So this is the Christmas market. For those that haven't come on one of my Christmas market tours, they are kind of series of little sort of wooden sheds. And I think we'll do that next week. So I'll kind of fix up a time, probably early evening, tea time, and we'll come down in the week and we'll chat to some of the makers and providers and find out what they're up to. This lad's been waiting so long to get back off home. He's lost a lot of weight. But I'm sure if he was to tuck in at La Crepe, he would soon be in fine fettle again in no time. So, yeah, everything's going to shut down the market. So just give us our sort of first flavour then of the market for 2023. This is kind of where it's all located here in Parliament Street. So there are a series of units, but yeah, everything is sort of shut down. So we'll come back next week and pick those up. But it's just nice to give you a little recce and try that diet too far. Yes, extreme diet. These fasting diets, I think, have got too extreme these days. It's time to kind of pare back a little bit. I think all this fasting, it's not good for people. But we've got a nice kind of LED lighting up colouring tree here, so that's pretty cool. I'm liking that. And lots of Christmas markets. Did they and do tell me, did Ian, Leonie, and Steph, did they speak to the storeholder? Because that's what I like to do, rather than simply just walk around. I like to talk to people. So have they been nicking my ideas? Do tell. Now it's time to grass them up and tell me if they've been appropriating the chatty tour. How pretty is that? I'm only joking, of course. They are first-rate guides, one and all. Sorry. So we've got that kind of candy stick. And let's go down to the shambles from here. Because I think there's not much point in just looking at lots and lots and lots of sort of empty or closed-off units. So all this down here will be all open with different stores. So we will definitely go and do that in the very near future. So this is coming to the shambles market now. So the markets here obviously are temporary in Parliament Street. They're just here for kind of about 4 weeks, obviously over the sort of festive period leading up to it. But this shambles market is here so all year round. So it's nice to see as well. They've got their festive decorations up, and so this route here, taking us past one of my favourite buildings in York, is going to take us to the top of the shambles, so we can have a little look at the shambles at Christmas. And where else would you want to be rather than the shambles on a tour such as this? So regular watchers will know how fond I am of this particular building. Sat here in the market, it just enchants me. It really, it pushes my buttons. This building, it's fair to say. I think it's got absolutely everything in a sort of city of multiple incredibly fine buildings. Nonetheless, that is one that really just does it for me. I love it. It's my favourites. So there we go. So it's nice to see that again. So there's another of the nutcrackers actually just down here. This was the first one that we found on our tour the other week. So see that again. Now, if you can see on that lampshade how the rain's coming down now. It really is raining pretty darn hard. So I'm doing our best to keep everything dry. And if I do pack up and disappear, you'll know it's because we've simply got too much water in the kit, and it's simply not going to play anymore. So this one was called Maurice. That's right. So it's nice to see Maurice one more time. I think this was designed by one of the schools, if I remember rightly. And there's Maurice. He really needs to kind of blend in. I think his blusher, doesn't he? He's kind of it's a bit primitive, his makeup. So he needs to work on that, I think. So we're at the top, coming out of kind of Shambles Market. We're coming into you know Andrew. Andrew has stolen the hearts, it would seem, of the travelling community, and nobody else quite will do in the same way. So here we are, with a twinkle and a sparkle, and hopefully pretty quiet. Well, it'll be wet and a Monday evening, which it certainly is. So here we go, little drum roll. Here is the Shambles, looking darn cute, even though I say so myself. Of course, I come down here a lot, but I never lose my absolute thrill at how wonderful it all is, and how fortunate we are to have this on our kind of doorstep, and you can plug yourself sort of back into the charm of York. And it's looking, of course, even more lovely the normal, it's greenery, and the lights. Again, fairly subtle, nothing too much going on. It's not kind of an absolute riot, an explosion. But I think just enough to kind of set it off and to kind of really bring out the kind of charm. Lovely reflections, I don't know how well you can see that, in the pavement. So we're getting twinkly pavements as well. So it's, well, the streets are paved with gold, which is lovely. So obviously we've got gold, whitey gold kind of lights, and they're reflecting down and creating a lovely ambient glow across the street. It really is a magical environment. It is you cannot help but be just blown away, really, sucked in. We are helpless to resist. Don't even bother trying to resist the shambles. Just allow it to do what it does. And well, do you know, fudge is something to talk about fudge there. Fudge is one of those things that I think is great to have one piece, but thereafter, I don't know. But unfortunately, they only sell it in like industrial kilos. You know, you get shovelfuls of it. They sell vast quantities. So consequently, one piece, and I've kind of more than satiated with fudge. But they do insist that you buy rather a lot. So there's plenty for the next day, or to share, as you might say. But it's lovely. But you may go into a diabetic coma after the second piece. So be careful with the fudge. But it is a York tradition, and the York Fudge Pantry just over there. If you're going to have fudge, there's nowhere better to go than that. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's very, very generous and very kind. The goats merchants aren't lit up this evening. I thought they might have a little window display going on, but sadly not. So, we'll not give them the attention if they're not on the effort. No, of course, they are absolute kind of mainstays of here. So the corner, famous kind of little shambles in the main shambles, where these buildings sort of fold in almost like they're leaning on one another. They're kind of so close. It's so pretty. And so we'll give you a bit of a close-up shambles, angles, and action. And somebody put, I think it was KCM the other week, put on a picture of the turn of the century, and it was taken from about here. And if you go back and have a look at that picture, I think it was in my group, you'll see that where the woodwork, the timbers in the upper part there, they're all see-through. In other words, the wind was going straight through that building. They weren't at all well restored. So then, compared to now, really different. It's a great insight, that picture, into quite how problematic the shambles was. It really was kind of falling down 130 years ago. So it's fantastic that they brought it back to this wonderful kind of restoration that it is now. And of course, it becomes the focal point. Everybody wants to come here. But at one time, it was downright decrepit and very poor as well. These inner city spaces were very destitute. People lived outside where there was land and kind of greenery and sort of space. The inner cities were incredibly, Buffy's back, were really quite deprived. So the area around the shambles certainly was not an area that was well-to-do. But sorry if I've lost you a little bit there, but I appear to be back. So we'll just continue sort of walking on and just taking the overall ambience there of the shambles. Somebody's doing a ghost tour, so I'll just hush up as we walk past her, chatting over there to her. But in front of Margaret Clitheroe's house, so the shrine, we'll walk on and we'll go and have a look down at Coppergate, I think. And
the priest hall was literally in your house. It was a hole where you would find it.
Yeah, pretty sad. So there was talk, was there not, of a Christmas store. So the Nutcracker store is here. Oh, we're going to go to the Stonegate, won't we? So should we go to Stonegate or should we go to the Wishing Tree? Let's have a think. Let's decide. We could maybe just about do both if we get a wiggler. Should we do Stonegate? Let's go look at Stonegate because it's so lovely, and then I'm sure we can just about make it down in time for the Wishing Tree. So let's take a shortcut through the market, and we'll go to Stonegate because how could we not, after all? So it looks lovely. Of course, all illuminated on like the Newgate, the Shambles Market here in York, and it's a daily market. It runs pretty much every day through the year, so it's definitely something to come and check out while you're here in York if you're visiting. And lots of variety on offer, all sorts of things from sort fresh fruit and vegetables, kind of meat and fish. Of course, there's lots of craft as well, art pieces, and kind of clothes and all manner of stuff. So a lot of variety. So it's well worth a visit if you're coming into York. So let us go down the street of Patrick Pool. Another one of my favourite buildings is down here. So I will show you. So see, we've done a loop there, passing Maurice one more time. So this building here in Patrick Pool, another of my favourites here in York. Oh, we've got Pride flags up there as well. Not quite sure they're up for, but always nice to see them. Now then, for any Harry Potter fans on, Linda, I'm talking to you with our new Hocus Pocus hotel here in York. So for those that are into witching and wizarding, this is the place you need to come and stay. If you're not coming and staying with me, of course. But this is fully themed up to really indulge your complete whims and fascination with all things witching and wizarding. So yes, let's go and have a look down Stonegate, and we're going to look at the Christmas shop, because we can't not come in on a Christmas tour. It would be remiss of me in the extreme were I to deprive you of the opportunity to go and look at Cathy Wolfhart. So we'll go down and have a look at that, and then we'll find our way back down towards, we'll go down Petergate and find our way down to the castle and the wishing tree, and we'll finish up down there. But there's no rush unless you're disappearing off somewhere else. I don't know what time we're on, but I think we're probably okay. I think it seems like once we're out and about, we might as well make a night of it, as they say. But out, you know. That's it now. Yeah, we're out till Christmas. So I think we'll do that. So the old Central Mission Hall we're passing here. Now again, a bar. One time a non-conformist religious centre for the Pentecostals, I believe. The Pentecostals? The Elims. They have that building. So we'll have a walk down by Barley Hall. And I know you'll know kind of Barley Hall. Little stone gate over here to our left, looking lovely as ever. But let's head down this. We'll get us straight to where we want to be on Stonegate. So I should dip down my brolly off. I think I might do it without the brolly now. Grey Plain, leading to Petergate down there. So let's head down. We'll see Barley Hall, and you're very welcome, Linda. So back into the Snickleways. The tour of York, of course, would not be complete without a wee trip down the Snickleways. How could I deprive you when you've been so well behaved? And, how's that for atmosphere? And of course, it's going to open up. It's a place you've been to many times on these tours. Is of course our fabulous Barley Hall. Again, could do a little bit more on illumination. And another, of course, of the Nutcrackers. Looking really rather surprised. It's a lovely area. Can't help it. This is Dean. This is Dean the Nutcracker, the gingerbread Nutcracker. And look at that lighting, isn't it romantic? It's just so atmospheric, I think is the word I'm going to use here. And there's a Pavlovian response. Oh, fantastic. So just the merest swish of a magic broom, and you're hearing you. That's lovely. That's lovely that you associate us with such lovely, lovely, lovely things. So this one, Cathy Wolfhart, is again one of my favourite buildings, the original Mulberry Hall. And of course, it is York's Christmas store as well. So let us go and indulge, as we do with Betty's Window. But let's just take in the building first. Dating from 1434, it was founded. Isn't that a Christmas cracker? Yes, it's the second year of the Nutcrackers, though I believe they've been repainted and kind of redecorated. But look how higgledy-piggledy that all is. There isn't a straight line in the place. It is absolutely charming. And who wouldn't want to be up there? Can you imagine spending Christmas night in there and waking up on Christmas morning and opening your presents in one of those bedrooms? How exciting would that be? So let's see what they've got in their window. Let's see what we can see. Now then, we have swans. So I guess from 7 swans are swimming. Now I've seen a lot of Christmas decorations over the years. I don't think I've ever seen a TV set hanging on. Now that I suppose you could. I suppose it makes sense. We'll watch a bit of TV at Christmas. In fact, inside that is a tiny nativity. You probably can't see that. But actually, inside that TV set is a nativity, which is kind of really clever. I like that now. But a Christmas TV, so I guess that makes sense. Lovely sort of cycling snow globe. So this is Cathay Wolverhart. So it's a German company that has some Rothenburg of the Taube in Germany. So very, very kind of traditional Central European, Nordic presentation. So much, much more influenced by Viking Yule in its kind of presentation, the Santas and the elves and the Christmas trees, and this imagery than it is by anything that's kind of Christian. Although down here we've got a kind of replay a bit of the kind of nativity going on there. Mary just in the middle, the Magi there to the right-hand side, and an angel playing a violin, which is rather nice. And that's a rather nice little nativity scene down that way. A tiny Noah's Ark there in the middle as well. Isn't that fab? I love it. We should make a Christmas tree that's all 12 days of Christmas characters. That'd be fantastic. What a great idea that would be. To have them all, as you say, and a partridge right at the top in a pear tree. So we have the snowman. Isn't it just lovely? Really kind of charming. So lots of kind of variants, of course, on the Advent calendar. So Advent, of course, started off as being about going out, really fasting in preparation for the Christmas feasting. Now we've kind of got chocolate Advent calendars. Not quite sure how we got there. Gin calendars. We've got doggy Advent calendars, haven't we? We've got all manner of kind of things about treating ourselves before Christmas. It's kind of funny then, isn't it, when you think about it, that we came from basically fasting and instead we've now got chocolate for breakfast. So draw a straight line between those two if you can. But nonetheless, that's where they come from. That's the Advent calendar. And so we've got quite a more is more kind of tree, has to be said, going down here. It's certainly not subtle. There's a lot going on with that. But it's not the worst for it. It's absolutely lovely. And some lovely little snowmen over there. Absolutely charming. What have we got in this window? That's lovely. Is it the Christmas wreath? That's an Advent calendar, I believe. But very, very pretty. That kind of Victorian sort of vibe going on as well. Everything's kind of very tasteful. So over here we've now got the sort of the fireplace piece, things you might put on your mantelpiece, on your hearth. It's kind of light up. And these little things, have you seen these before? They light up. You light the candles, and the hot air from the candles turns like the little windmill, and that kind of spins it. That's obviously on a motor that's turning it around. But in your own home, if you light those, have we seen these before? And so they're kind of very pretty. Big nutcracker on the door, is there? I'm sure there is. Oh yes, yes, he certainly looks rather fierce, doesn't he? You wouldn't want to mess with him. The nutcracker there, he's looking really rather a bit angry, if it has to be said. If you ask me, he doesn't look not especially happy. Obviously not that excited as yet about Christmas, not really in the Christmas spirit. And again, there's Santa bearing his gnashers. So again, something's irking him. Not quite sure what's going on with Santa, but he is yet to get into the Christmas spirit. I see he's holding Christmas Carol. I think he's more in like a Scrooge place than he is right now. Precious Moments, yeah, I believe they do. I believe the figurines are kind of for sale. So lovely kind of Santa's sleigh down here with the kind of reindeer, little angels. So just lovely, cute things. And back to Nativity. Robin was saying about Nativity. Really nice kind of simplistic wood presentation down here. Really nice, really simple. And Spain's the place to go, of course, for Nativity. They really kind of going for Nativity. over in Spain. And of course, they have the pooping boy as well. I think Kelsey might have shown you that before, or maybe Stefan, I forget. But the cack boy, they associate boys pooing with Christmas. Doesn't seem very Christmassy to me, but there we go. So we've got Santa, his electric guitar down there, and a whole range of Santa. So whatever kind of nutcracker Santa you're after, then you can knock yourself out. There is more than enough to go around there. So I think what we'll do is just pan out, just give you a kind of big view of the window, and we'll head back down and go and have a little walk down Petergate, and then head down to finish up by the castle. We're going to look at the wishing tree down there. Isn't that delightful? And so once again, the rain is coming down. Stefan and Peppers was that. I knew that people had done it, but yeah, I can't remember the exact announcement. It's to do with sort of harvest, isn't it? Basically, fertiliser is obviously animal poo, but for some reason they move it on to little boy go to the toilet as being about renewal and the harvest. And that's actually an ancient link. The link between the kind of Christmas and the harvest is very much kind of in the pagan tradition. So it's not such a Spanish thing. It's not Christian, which is surprising because they're very Catholic in that country. It's eternally pagan. But it's a very, very old link. In fact, really, the Roman Saturnalia festival, Saturn was the god of agriculture, farming, the harvest. So, their Christmas festival, what became Christmas, Saturnalia, was really a kind of midwinter prayer for the harvest. If you think about it in a sort of simplistic level, you'd done your planting, you'd come together and pray through celebration, through partying, to pray for a good harvest. So that's what kind of Saturnalia was all about. But it was sort of 6 days and 6 nights of kind of orgiastic, bacchanalian revelry. And this is new for the cat lovers amongst you. We have cats bearing gifts. So I'm not sure if that is meant to be Melchior, perhaps. Not entirely sure. But kind of like in that. Oh, it's Katenka. So apparently Katenka once travelled with the Russian circus, accompanied by a fellow performer, Oleg the Magnificent. Through a spectacular high-wire act made her a star, she yearned for something more and found it not in crowds and fame, but in a humble cottage by the sea with her beloved Whittington. So there we go. That's what you're looking at there. So we have a Christmas cat-themed tableau. Make of that what you will. But I'm sure you'll make of it. I'm sure you'll all be delighted with that. But so, if you have a little cat shop window, because that's just around the corner. We can't really do a shop windows tour in York, can we, without having a look at what the cat window is doing. So let's have a look at that. It's just we come around here. That'll be coming. Let's see what Christmas gifts are on offer from the cat gallery, not the cat stories, the cat gallery. So that is that's just here. So we're now in Petergate, known, of course, after St. Peter, to whom the minster is dedicated. Oh, look at that. We've got a Christmas pussycat doll's house. So in the tradition of York, they've got cats on the windows, climbing the walls. So a mini version of the Mystery Cat Trail all in one house there. So that's a rather nice gift, or it's certainly a presentation, isn't it? And it would seem, if they're cooking fish heads, but there are an awful lot of our feline friends awaiting, seemingly in anticipation, out on the front lawn. So they're waiting. Your cat number 23 there, Jeffrey. So there we go. Many a pussycat on offer. And as ever, a range of gifts to satisfy either yourself or the cat person in your life. The Lucky Cat Shop in York. So I think last time we were looking at Halloween stuff. Now we've got Christmas socks. So all year round, there is basically things you can fritz your cash on here at the York Cat Gallery. And a very good cause it is too. So Christmas with the one you love. So Christmas cooking mittens there. Lovely Christmas cards. And of course, pussycat baubles. So perfect question, absolutely. Perfect. Bring us a figgy pudding, this pussycat, and a cup of good cheer. That's a rather nice. I think we can all go there. Look at that, there's a pussycat at the top of the tree, which is apposite, appropriate, isn't it? So let's have a walk down. And so I think we'll, if we get down to the bottom of the street here, we'll cut across and go down Coppergate, have a look at the lights on Coppergate, and then go and finish up down by Clifford's Tower. So again, we'll just try and give you a little perspective on what's in the shop windows as we go along. And the rain sort of stopped. Should we try and get the brolly down again? Because it's not much fun trying to... You need about 3 arms to get an octopus. Would be... So lovely jewellers here. Always kind of make an effort. We'll be out here next month on the ice trail. These guys always have a big diamond ring, if you remember, out here. So this is Bradley's Family Jewellers. Lovely unit here on Petergate. So yeah, it's not too long now to the ice trail. And then we've got Vikings in York. It all starts again. You name it, we've got it in York. Lovely Petergate house down here. Fantastic Italian restaurant. How lovely does that look? Do you like the blue lights of that tree? I think that looks quite cool, the blue light, but I think it's very elegant too. I do like the blue light, as we said. So down Petergate, it's got the Minster behind us. Not bad to see much of the Minster because it's not lit up. The Minster's behind us. So Petergate is the Roman route, the Via Principia, that takes us right through the kind of heart of the city. We've got Warmgate Bar, the other end, about 10 minutes walk from here, with the famous Barbican, if you remember that. And let's head down now towards the castle and the trees. I'm getting a bit wet now, a little bit cold. I'm starting to, it's starting to come through my socks. You know, when you've walked around quite a while in the rain, and no matter how waterproof you think your footwear is, rainwater and puddles manage to find a way, doesn't it? Little gaps in the stitching, whatever it may be, has been exposed one more time, and now starting to get a soggy foot, which is, I suppose it's a price you pay, isn't it? Going out walking in all weathers, but it does mean that perhaps the time is drawing to a close. But we're definitely going to make it down to the castle and to Wishing Tree, because that's what we like to do on this particular tour. And as with so many things that now, it's not the first time we've done this. This is probably the second or third year of doing Christmas lights in York tour. So I do hope you've not seen it before, you've enjoyed it. If you have seen this before, it's been a little different to previous years. So walking through King's Square now, and shame this isn't on because this looks absolutely fabulous. Of course, when it's all illustrated and not illustrated, illuminated rather. The traditional, what do you call these? Like the horse ride things. There's a name for it in the back. Can't think what they're called. Carousel. That's it. Carousel. A lovely kind of carousel going on there. So again, gorgeous lights crisscrossing. So at King's Square, the Shambles just over there on the kind of right hand side. We've already done the Shambles, so we'll walk down Collier Gate this time and cut across down into Coppergate. So for those that have never noticed or picked up on it, most of the streets in York are called gate. It's a Nordic word meaning street, and it was basically established in the Viking era. So what it tells us is that the very, very cute building, that the vast majority of the streets that exist today were present and correct during the 200-year period of Viking occupation that went from 866 to 1066, because they named pretty much all the streets. So we're on Coppergate. Next to us, most famous, of course, Watmergate. We've got Stonegate, Petergate, Feesgate, Newgate, Juppergate, Spurriergate, Skeldergate. You name it, we've got a gate for it. The gates, of course, are called bars. We don't call the gateways gates. Just to clarify that for you. The bars, of course, are pubs. So, just kind of come around. So this is pavement. So pavement, we believe, got its name from Mr. Watmergate, just here on our kind of our right-hand side. Pavement, we think, got its name for being kind of the first paved street in York. Although Stonegate claims the same thing, so we don't know kind of who's telling the truth and who's trying to pull a fast one in that regard. But the Church of All Saints, the Lantern Church, coming. So another Christmas tree in their ground. So we're going to have a look over there. And The lovely light of the church there, the Lantern Church. Lit up every night. The best York's very own hat shop. So if you're in need of a hat, this is the place to be in York. York Gin Shop. Have a look at their display, see what they're doing for Christmas, because they normally make quite the effort. And we'll see if they've done themselves proud this year. I suspect it will be quite lovely. Oh, indeed it is. So here we are. We're at the York Gin Shop. And there's all manner, of course, of gifts on offer for the gin lover in your life, including miniature bottles, which you can hang off your tree. Whether they've still got gin in by Christmas Day, I suppose, is down to how well how kind of disciplined you are, I suppose. But quite a nice thing to hang off the tree, isn't it? Little mini bottles of gin. Kind of range of York gin products on offer, all beautifully packaged. And for the cocktail lover in your life, suggestions as to how you might enjoy a York gin at its very, very best. So let us walk on, because I know kind of time is getting on, and my socks aren't going to get any drier. So let us push on. So we're at the sort of bottom end of where the Christmas markets are. So when we come and do the Christmas markets next week, we'll probably start down at this end. I'm going to work our way up and down, have a look at the units, see what's happening, and hopefully engage with some nice folk and listen to what they're up to, which is always a lovely way. Oh, look, some lights down here as well. So, well, I think we saw these last year. If I remember rightly, this is something to do with is it Jewish Christmas? Is it? I don't know. Not Christmas. Hanukkah Christmas. I don't know. I can't remember. There's something down here. You have to kind of guide me as to what's going on for those that are. But I think it's to do with symbols of religions. That's right. I remember now. It's the first time I've seen this since last year. So we've got a crescent, which is Islamic, isn't it? The crescent, and then we've got the candelabra thing, which I know is kind of Jewish, right? Sorry, apologies. You'll know no doubt what it's called. I'm not so good at that sort of thing. We've got Star of David, and we've then got like a lotus flower. Is that kind of Buddhist thing? I'm not entirely sure, but and then we've got a little candle and a flame. So again, can't see unfortunately buses here. So which Hanukkah was it? It's a Hanukkah type thing, yeah. I know it's Muslim at the end there, so that kind of covers off all the bases, I think. So let's go and have a little look down the Coppergate Centre, and we're going to go and finish up by the castle. So I think you'll have more than had your fill then of York and its lights for one evening. I do hope you've enjoyed your time here. Hope the rain hasn't taken away the spirit too much. It's always slightly frustrating. You can't get the weather you like, but yeah, it's the atmosphere, and it does make for nice shiny pavements. I think that light effect you're getting right now on the pavements does look pretty cool, but keeping your kit dry becomes a bit of a bore, it has to be said. But it's the price you pay for a nice visual effect. So Coppergate, another one of the gates we're coming into. So copper coopers, the barrel makers, of course. So the church, All Saints pavement. Here on our right-hand side, another Christmas tree, another lantern tower. And so we'll go on now into those modern parts of the city. The Coppergate Centre, the home of the world-famous Jorvik Viking Centre, here in York. And the Vikings, of course, with Yule, basically gave us most of the secular ideas of Christmas. They're incredibly influential in terms of how, not only how we celebrate Christmas, but actually the imagery that we use from the sort of Santa, from the elves. Start with Odin, with Yuliman, and of course St. Nicholas as well, but St. Nicholas traditionally was dressed as a bishop, whereas Yuliman was always a man with a long white beard and a hooded cloak to disguise his missing eye. Yuliman walked the earth to find children that deserved presents. So Santa, of course, actually as a person is St. Nicholas, but as a character, he's much closer to Yuliman, the kind of Viking idea and presentation. So the Vikings here in York for 200 years Come to the Jorvik Viking Centre and find out all about them. Really, really kind of impressed their kind of perspective. So everything from the Christmas tree to the Santa idea, the gift giver, to the sleigh, the flying horses, you name it. That's all kind of Viking. The elves, the toys, that's all kind of Viking. So mistletoe, Viking as well. So they really help to shape. So if we sort of combine the Christian festival, which of course we know is also the forerunner, is in pagan winter festival, the winter solstice and harvest festival, and then add the Yule element onto it, the Viking bit, then those two things added together, and you got a contemporary Christmas. So it's Christmas stroke Yule is probably a better way of kind of describing it. So Castle Gates, the gates we're sort of passing into here, not surprisingly, will take us to the castle. And we're not going to tally at the castle. What we are going to do is we're going to just head down, just past the castle, to the wishing tree. And we're going to finish off our tour this evening down there with the twinkly sparkling lights. So if you haven't already come across the wishing tree, the idea is it is a place of light, a bit of nature. It's a tree in front of the Castle Museum in York, which is near Clifford's Tower, the tower up on the hill, the remains of the castle. And the idea is you take a moment to invest a bit of hope, a bit of wish, something for the future, for the year ahead. Could be for you, could be for somebody else, could be about people you care about, could be about better health maybe, or some good news on the health front for next year. Whatever it is that you or one of your loved ones has got, the idea is you come to the tree and just take a moment or two in silence to kind of place that wish, that hope. And touch wood, 2024 will bring you the news you're hoping for, and your wish will be fulfilled. So what a nice way, I think, for a travelling community to come together and invest that time individually, collectively. You can wish for us all to find lots of new voyagers next year to complement our numbers. That'd be good as well. But whatever it is you want to wish for, then now is the time to have a think about that. We'll be there by the wishing tree in just one moment. And again, I think it's just impossible not to go slightly weak at the knees when we see sparkling lights and movement. And there really is something very magical, I think, indeed, about this installation. And so it's always an absolute delight to bring you down here. So coming into focus now, and of course set behind it, we've got the two buildings, part of the Castle Museum and the County Court here in York, the Criminal Court, Crown Court. But again, horrible puddle. And grandson doing absolutely grand. Humphrey had his hair cut today. I'll post a picture of him tomorrow. He came out looking so lovely, like a little teddy bear. But then, of course, I had to take him to the park to have a run around, and he got all mucky again. So I was really kind of disappointed because he just looked so cuddly and so soft and so sweet. So Humphrey doing great, and my grandson is doing brilliant too. So yeah, if we stay around, it'll change colour. There are a number of colour shifts that go on within it. So I'll shut up for a minute and let us enjoy the wishing tree. Probably being so wet. it seems to resist changing colour at the minute. But when I was here a couple of days ago, it was all different colours. So I don't know if it's got itself stuck. But it's every bit as lovely. Yeah, it'll be 2 months coming up. So there we are, the Wizard Tree. I think you probably hear my microphone. The rain is coming down pretty heavily now, so it is time, I think, for me to get somewhere, get dried off, get warm, and prevent my kit from floating away, disintegrating in the weather. So thank you everybody for joining me here in York. As ever, it is such a pleasure and a privilege to bring this to you. But all good things must come to an end, and sadly, the end is nigh. So absolute delight to see you all. I don't know if you're able to see me if I just spin the camera. Maybe, maybe not. Just can't actually see the screen now. Can you see me at all? I doubt it. Not really. If I go over here a little bit, I'll say, can you hear the rain? No, it's really, really coming down pretty hard. I think if I turn around like that, you may be able to see me a bit. No, you can't see me. But nonetheless, there I am. Nonetheless, you know that I'm here, and I'm wishing you all well, and just what a pleasure it is to spend time in your company again. So after 18 days away, it's nice to be back on that horse, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. So thank you so much from York. I'm going to say good night and goodbye. Bye-bye.